Ivory Coast shocks Ecuador. What really happened? Welcome back to Foot Empire. Ivory Coast defeated Ecuador 1-0. Many fans expected Ecuador to control the match. Many experts believed Ecuador had the stronger squad. But football is never played on paper. And Ivory Coast proved exactly why. Today we're breaking down the key reasons behind this huge victory and what it means for the rest of Group E. Before the match, Ecuador arrived with confidence. They had qualified impressively. They possessed quality players. And many people considered them favorites to challenge Germany for first place in the group. But Ivory Coast had a different plan. From the opening whistle, the Elephants played with intensity, discipline, and determination. Every player understood the assignment. Every player fought for the badge. And that mentality changed everything. The first reason Ivory Coast won was their defensive organization. Ecuador struggled to find space. Whenever Ecuador tried to attack, Ivory Coast defended as a unit. The defensive line remained compact. The midfield worked tirelessly, and Ecuador found it difficult to create clear chances. This frustrated Ecuador throughout the game. The second reason was physical intensity. Ivory Coast won numerous battles across the pitch. They were strong. World Cup matches are often decided by small details, and Ivory Coast dominated many of those details. Another major factor was belief. Sometimes football is about mentality. The Ivorian players looked fearless. They never played like underdogs. They played like a team convinced they could win. That confidence was visible from the first minute until the final whistle. Then came the decisive moment. One opportunity, one mistake, one finish. At the highest level, that is often all it takes. Ivory Coast took their chance. Ecuador didn't. And that difference ultimately decided the match. Let's also give credit to the coaching staff. The tactical preparation was excellent. Ivory Coast knew exactly where Ecuador could be vulnerable. They remained disciplined. They stayed patient. And when the moment arrived, they struck. That tactical intelligence played a huge role in securing all 3 points. Now, let's talk about Ecuador. Should Ecuador panic? Absolutely not. This is still a very strong team. They still have quality players. They still have 2 group matches remaining. But this defeat creates pressure. Their next match becomes critical. Another poor result could put qualification in serious danger. For Ivory Coast, however, this victory is enormous. 3 points, a clean sheet, confidence, momentum. Everything changes. Now, they can look ahead to the next match with belief. And perhaps most importantly, they have shown the rest of the tournament that they are not here simply to participate. They are here to compete. My biggest takeaway from this match? Ivory Coast reminded the world why African football can never be underestimated. Talent, athleticism, passion, determination. All of those qualities were on display. And if they continue performing like this, they could become one of the surprise packages of the tournament. Foot Empire verdict. Ivory Coast deserved the victory. Better organization, better mentality, better efficiency, strong defensive performance. Final score, Ivory Coast 1-0 Ecuador. Man of the match, the Ivorian defensive unit.